Are you a business looking for a fresh new way to reach potential customers? Well, you need to get airtime on IT TV, a 24/7 streaming and on-demand TV service online and on Roku. With Roku having a potential reach of 62 million people, it's a perfect opportunity to reach potential customers through affordable commercial and infomercial spots. Visit us online today at itnetwork.tv.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on another episode, actually Friday's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. Of course, I am your host, Sharifah Hardie, and I have some incredible guests for you today. We've had so much fun since I returned to the Roundtable Talk Show last week and this week, and hey, it's Friday, and like I always tell people on Fridays, only the good Lord knows what I'm going to say, but I guarantee we're going to have some fun today. So go ahead and share this show because, as always, friends don't let friends miss out on the Roundtable Talk Show. So while you are introducing your friends to the Roundtable Talk Show, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first guest, Miss Lisa Porter. Lisa Porter is the CEO of PAWPURITY. Lisa has worked in the pet world for more than 10 years. She founded Pet Hotels of America, an online service for people traveling with pets to be able to book at pet-friendly hotels, find pet-friendly parks, beaches, restaurants, events, activities, and more in every U.S. city. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifah. How are you?
I am fine. I'm excited to learn more about you.
The season is about to hit us here, and yeah, I'm excited too.
Well, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Okay. Yeah, during COVID, I began a new venture because I had 3 rescue dogs, and they were, I don't know if they were allergic, but every time I'd open up one of the neck spot on products for fleas, they would run and hide and I wouldn't find them for 20 minutes. So I decided to develop my own product, which I had actually been working on and then stopped for a while. So we created a couple of products that are 100% natural to avoid, any pesticides or anything like that. And the first one is the flea and tick shampoo, and then we have a flea and tick spray. So we created a whole product line is what ended up happening because you can't just stop at 1 or 2, right? So that's pretty much it. We've been going full force since then.
Full force since then. Wonderful. We have questions for you, but we are going to come back to you,
Sure.
Ms. Lisa. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest. You have seen her here before on the Roundtable Talk Show, Dr. Madeline Lewis, Executive Women's Success Institute. Dr. Lewis is president and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute and creator of the online course, Crack the Career Code, How to Lead with Confidence, Charisma, and Credibility. She's the host of the Success for Women radio TV show, career strategist, trainer, speaker, author, business consultant, and just amazing woman. Good morning, Dr. Lewis. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing very well. It is a pleasure to be here again on the show. I am just looking forward to our chat again.
I am as well. We had so much fun the last time. Tell the people who you are, what you do, and what you're passionate about.
Well, I am, as you said, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, and I am the president and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. And the Executive Women's Success Institute is a place where women can come and be comfortable in sharing and because they want to get into upper management and executive level positions. So this is what I help them to do. So it's also a place where they can get to where they can learn to rise up, a safe haven, so to speak, so that we show them how to rise up. We show them how to speak up. We show them how to sit at the table, and we show them how to let their voices be heard. So that's what I do. I help women to move into upper management and executive level positions. And when they decide that they're ready to come out of the workplace, then I also help them when they want to start their businesses, to help them get their business on track. So what I am passionate about, it's women, helping them to accelerate their path to success.
Wow. And I think we're going to have fun today because all the guests are, of course, women. But this next young lady, I'm kind of concerned because I don't know what will happen if she speaks up any more. I love her to death, but hey, we don't know what's going to happen. Jennie Bellinger is a certified professional coach and the host of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast, of which I was a guest on. We had so much fun. This lady is amazing. She works with badass direct sales moms who are ready to double their monthly income. Good morning, Jennie. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifah. Thank you so much for having me back. I absolutely had so much fun the first time that when you announced that the show was back, I was like, me too. Boom, booked.
Yes. For everyone who doesn't know you, tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're passionate about.
Well, I am Jennie Bellinger. I am a certified professional coach, as you mentioned before, and the host of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast. And I work primarily with women in direct sales. Yes, the next question that naturally tends to happen is, do I work with men? Yes, I do have a few male clients as well, because there are men in direct sales. But for the most part, women make up a majority of direct sales and network marketing audience. And so that's who I work with. And I'm passionate about working with these moms because I know that when you have an impact on a mom, you're not just impacting mom, you're impacting their children, you're impacting their significant other, you're impacting their friends, their family, their co-workers, because when you help a mom, there's this wonderful ripple effect that goes out, and it allows me to actually create more impact by working with these moms.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to come back to you, but I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, who's also equally amazing, Ms. Nancy Mello. Nancy Mello, psychic medium, animal communicator. She's a renowned animal intuitive, animal communicator, psychic medium, and clairvoyant. Nancy Mello works with people and pets worldwide to lead more fulfilling lives. She has been featured in publications such as the Washington Post, LA Weekly, Yahoo Finance, and Scary Mom. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I can't wait to learn more about you.
I look forward to chatting with all of these wonderful women. In addition to working with animals and pets, I am really passionate. Actually, one of my passions is actually helping women in business. I love working in the psychic and clairvoyant capacity and really helping women explore their goals. And sometimes it's all about just giving them that push to help them succeed. I'm also really passionate about animal welfare. I have helped find 94 missing pets since March of 2020. And I'm also starting to work a lot with end of life with animals. And I'm featured in the latest issue of Dogster in December and January 2022. So I kind of do a lot, but I love it all.
Wonderful. And what's interesting is, how do we have Miss Lisa from PAWPURITY and Nancy Mello, who finds pets, all on the same show? Lisa, what are your thoughts?
Ask Nancy. She's clairvoyant.
Have you ever worked with a pet communicator?
No, I think people actually, there's a reason for us all being together here. And you know, I'm a total passionate animal lover too, and I would do anything to help an animal. And I think that Nancy's probably the same way. And yeah, so actually that's why we created, because you know they do help, you know, improve an animal's skin and coat. But I also would love to work with Nancy to try to help save some more animals and do our share in you know, creating better homes for them.
Okay, Nancy, Lisa wants to work with you. How's that partnership going? What do we need to do?
I would love that. I get the question a lot, as in a professional sense, of what's my purpose. And I really feel like we all have a purpose. It's about honoring that. And I made a TikTok not too long ago. And the TikTok is just nancy.mello if you want to look it up. And people say, what's my purpose? And I say, it's that thing that kind of rubs against you like sandpaper that you don't really want to do, but you feel it in here. And for me, it's helping animals and people, just like with Lisa. So it's finding that thing that you rub against and honoring that, because we all have a part that we can play to make this world better in so many different forms, whether it's coaching, whether it's helping women succeed. We all have a part, and it's about joining together and working together to see what else we can do, because when we join together, that's when the magic happens.
I agree. And the only reason I don't, go work at the rescues is because I'm afraid I'm going to bring home more animals.
Yeah.
My sisters would kill me if I can't travel with them.
Yeah, I have cats and two rescue dogs. My husband is active duty. He's actually away at the moment, and he swore to me that if I brought home another animal, we might not be married after this. So I it's hard because I work with so many different animals, and you want to help them all. And so I found a way that I can help them, but let them have a nice home elsewhere, or help them find a home working with other rescues. But I'm sure the other women can relate that when you help someone, it's like you want to be jumping up and down with them going, yes, 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 I want to be there with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You help people as well, Dr. Lewis?
Absolutely. Now, my focus is also mostly on women, helping women to, as I said, get into those upper management and executive level positions. Because as we all know, there's not enough of us up there, and especially the executive or that C-suite. There's not enough women up there. So I try to get as many women to that level as I possibly can. And, one of the things that I always say to women is that they really have to, when I talk about learn to speak up, let their voices be heard. And sometimes we may tend to have a problem with that. And so that's why I always just, hey, don't settle for less. Don't sit at the in the back, don't sit on the side. Always make sure that you go up to the front of the table. So yes, I am definitely, I also help men, or I wouldn't say help them much, but what I do can benefit them. I'll put it that way, because as I said, my focus is helping women to excel and to get up that ladder as far as they can.
Dr. Madeline, don't you find it's mostly about mindset?
Yeah, it is, because, again, we have a tendency to always question our decisions, or maybe have that doubt in the back of our mind that, am I good enough? Or we look at, focus on those what ifs. What if I fail? Or what if I can't do it? And it's one of the things that I always say. I read, I think it was in the Harvard Business Review, where they said that men will apply for a position if they only have 60% of the qualifications or the requirements needed, but women won't. They always feel that they need to have 100% of the qualifications or the requirements needed. And so when I coach women, I always tell them that's not necessarily so, because when you look at that application, if your first thought is that you have, some those things that are on there, some of those things that are on there, but there might be maybe one thing or two things that you don't have that's on that listing or on that posting, don't let that stop you. Because once you get in the job, you can always learn what you need to learn. So don't let one or two things stop you from applying. I mean, men don't. They throw their hat in the ring. It doesn't matter if they have 100% of the qualifications. So yes, it's a mindset.
Well, and Jennie, don't you find that in what you do as well, that you find that women tend to hesitate, and that's what you started doing, what you're doing, right? Is to kind of help those women push farther out, right, Jennie?
Yeah, absolutely. It often comes from the fact that we aren't trusting our intuition. We're not trusting our gut. tend to hold back because for so long we've, I don't know about you guys, but I was told from an early age, sit down, be quiet, sit down, be quiet, and to, not to speak out. And so, and now I have a podcast.
That's an interesting point, Jennie, because I talk about that, and I think we spoke about that on your show. Was that when I was raised, our generation was raised with that children are to be seen and not heard. And I think that affects women more than it affects, or little girls more than it affects boys, because what we learn is that we can't say no. We learn that we can't set boundaries. So I definitely agree. I think we did discuss that on your show.
We definitely did. And I think it's very true that girls, for the most part, I don't know whether it's nature or nurture, tend to be much more rule followers, whereas boys tend to be brought up, I think, more that rules are guidelines and things that you can kind of bend and loophole and things aren't hard and fast necessarily for them, which is, I think, why these women, just like Dr. Madeline was talking about, will look at the job postings or look at, certain things. And if they don't hit every single qualification, they'll hold back.
Yes.
And which is really unfortunate, because most of the time the things that are holding them back are, just like Dr. Madeline said, learn skills. I mean, seriously, I know in my gut, and I know, like, with every fiber of my being, and I'm sure this is going to resonate with each of you as well, everything is a learned skill. Everything. Absolutely. And I know this because every single one of us was born and we couldn't talk or walk, and yet here we are. So if one human can do it, another human can do it. There just has to be a will and a desire to learn that skill. And it may take some people more practice, because yes, there are some people who might be more naturally inclined to be able to do a particular skill, and it may come easier to them, but they still have to learn it in order to do it. And so oftentimes, I think if women would take a look at those skills that are being at the qualifications for that particular job, and if the 2 or 3 things that are being listed are things that they can learn, then go for it. Why not? Yes, I mean, absolutely. What is it that I think it was Michael Jordan said? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or Wayne Gretzky, or some sports guy said that. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
What I find in my own work, and actually how I started doing this a few years ago, and I went through this horrible period of depression and anxiety, and I've always had these skills. I've always been psychic. I've always been medium, and I've always kind of kept it under wraps, again, because I didn't want to upset anyone. I didn't want to shake the boat by coming out and being a psychic. But what I find is I really just wanted to reach people. I wanted to tell people it's okay. And it's amazing to me how many women come to me and they want to go for that job. And I see clairvoyantly, like, they're going to get it. They can go far, but it's about telling them it's going to be okay, because we're so used to doubting ourselves, and we're so used to being in competition with each other. I think it's kind of a gender thing where we're all kind of supposed to be fighting against each other. And so I kind of can come in and go, success is not pie. Just because you get that job doesn't mean your friend won't get another one. It's not, we all are on the same team. And I think recognizing, though, that we all deserve success. We all deserve happiness and to make money and all of that stuff. But we, just sometimes being told you're going to get it, or it's going to be okay, and just taking that stress off, because I find a lot of women will hesitate, that like Doctor was saying, if they don't think they're not going to get it, if they don't feel like they're fully qualified, they won't even try. Yeah. So it's a matter of just saying it's okay. You can go for it. Right. You can achieve this, but it's about having faith in yourself and being told, not just, it's not just in your head, but really the universe is on your side.
Absolutely.
To help you.
Well, my question to all of you is, do you think this is an innate thing where, like, I know that they've done studies where boys will raise their hands a lot quicker in preschool and elementary school, in any age. They'll raise their hand much faster to answer a question, even if they're wrong. than the girls will?
It's a little of both. I think that, because I came from the world of education and teaching, and there are some girls, and I was one of them, who, if I knew the answer or thought I knew the answer or thought I had, I was one of the first kids to raise my hand. So I think it's there are girls who defy that, but they are rarer, I think. And it's probably more personality based than it is gender based per se, because I think there are plenty of boys who probably also kind of shrink back in the background. So, but I think in terms of what is encouraged is probably much more so. I don't know how often I don't hear from men that they were told to sit down and be quiet as much as I hear it from women.
Absolutely.
Big time. And so, I think men oftentimes are not held back, and they are much more willing. So if you sit in a room with men and women in a business meeting, whether it's a networking meeting or, at a corporate location or something, men will continue talking until people be quiet so that they can be heard. Whereas women, if two people start talking at the same time, women will tend to hold back and let the other person talk. Yes. And so I've learned that when I'm in a room with men, I will just keep talking because that's what they're going to do. So I'm going to do it too.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by speak up. And I remember when I was in the workplace and I was young, just starting out, and I wanted to apply for this position, and I pulled a posting down on the board, and I went and I talked to another supervisor, and I will never forget that the advice that she gave me, which is what I also tell women today, is that she said, put in for the position. And she said, when you write up that posting, make it sound like you can walk on water. And it wasn't that she was telling me to inflate my qualifications or anything like that. But what she was saying is, don't be afraid to go for it. Because what she did say to me is, once you get into the position, as you all were saying, you can learn what you need to learn. And you also, if you're being put into a supervisory position, you can put people in place that can help you with, things that you don't know. And so it's like what they say, when you're in a position, you don't have to know everything about the position. You need to know a little bit about everything. I always tell them, if you want to be in upper management or whatever, you need to know a little bit about HR. You need to know a little bit about EEO. You need to know a little bit about the budget, but you don't have to be an expert in all of that, because what you need to know is also have contacts in those areas too, so that when there's a question that you have, there's someone that you can reach out to. And I believe someone else said to have that support system, and so that you're not competing with each other. You always make sure that you have a support system and other women that you network with, so that you can reach out to them when you need to.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know about you ladies, but I'm always wary of women that I read somewhere that there's two types of women. There's women that support other women and genuinely do, and then there's the second type of woman that supports another woman and then tries to defame her and do stuff, compete with her behind her back. But I'm always wary of women that don't want to welcome another woman to the table. Yeah. Like I always tell people in my business, like I joke that I have a psychic friends network, that I have other psychics and animal communicators that I work with. And most of them are women, but some are men. And I always say, like, if I can't help you, I hope someone else can, but I'm happy to recommend someone. Mm-hmm. But I'm always wary of women that don't want to recommend someone else, that won't recommend, that it's all about me. And again, it's competition. So for me personally, I always kind of go, whoa, if another woman is again, like not not sharing the pie, but even kind of sharing experiences, it's kind of like, do you think is it threatening, or what is it when another woman isn't kind of sharing that knowledge?
I think, I'll jump in really quickly. Mine's a short answer. I think it's insecurity. It comes from a place of not not feeling that, number one, there's enough. So it's insecurity of self, insecurity of abundance, and understanding how that works. That's been my own personal experience when a woman is behaving like that. It's insecurity. It's more about her than it is about, you know, the people who are around her. It's not that she's keeping people out because they aren't worth collaborating with, but because she doesn't see her own value enough to know that she's, you know, going to attract the people who are meant to come to her. And so she wants all of the clients.
Right. Yeah. And what and I totally agree with you there. And I also think that it's because some women, especially those when they start moving up the career ladder, they don't want to pull other women up behind them because they think it's going to make them look like they're showing too much favoritism toward other women. But what I tell them is men don't think like that. Men will help other men whether they like them or not. Women, not so much. And so that's why when we talk about the mindset, that's what it is. You don't have to think that, oh, if I reach back and help 2 or 3 other women up the ladder, everybody's going to think, oh, I'm only helping women. So what? If you feel that they are worth pulling up that ladder, then definitely do it. And don't think about the fact that someone's going to look at you and say you're being biased or you're playing favoritism.
Lisa, have you seen it in your line of work as well? Have you seen a lot of collaboration with women, or what's your experience?
I've seen a lot of cooperation, you know, but before I started this company, I had a PR marketing company, and that's where I saw women helping women a lot more so. I think that the retail, you know, or online e-commerce is a little bit different. You know, I mean, I think everybody's in competition in this case. It's not whether women are helping women or men helping men. It's product versus product. It's totally different. But you know, I mean, just in getting started with the products and stuff, I got a lot of help. But I got the help from different people, or men and women, you know, that were in the business. So I didn't see that as much in this business. I did see it when I had my public relations company.
Well, one of the things that I see about Nancy is that you like, you know, you're a good teammate. You like throwing the ball. You like giving the ball to somebody else. I've watched you do it twice, at least on this show. You initially tossed the ball to Jennie. What do you think about that? Then you toss the ball back over there to Lisa. Lisa, what do you think about that? So I think you're a wonderful team player.
I try to be. I think we're all on the same team. And when I started doing this, you know, just a few years ago, you know, a lot of people are like, it's mine. I have to grab it. And I really believe, Louise Hay, who is the founder of Hay House, said, let the river flow. And I like to compare it to actually you're going down a roller coaster and you have to put your hands up. And regardless of what you're doing, if you're putting your hands there and going down, or you're putting your hands up, you're still going down. You're still going on this road of life. But if you put your hands up and say, I'm completely out of control, whatever happens is meant to happen. I have that faith. I believe in the universe. It's going to happen. So if I do this, I might as well be screaming with the woman next to me, but doing this and trying to elbow her out of the way isn't helping anything, because it's going to happen the way it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
So I am only where I am because of the help of other women. The opportunities I've had, like being featured in the Washington Post, was a woman client. I helped her find her cat that was stolen in a car, and she recommended me to the reporter. You know, I like these things that have helped me, and the opportunities I've had have been on the shoulders of other women, and I'm honored to do it. And that's why I particularly love working with other women. I love lifting them up, because it's been a boys' club for too long in whatever industry we're in, whatever we're working with. And I think it's funny what Dr. Madeline said about the fact that men don't care. They'll hire other men beneath them. They don't care. And yet women are like, well, I don't want to show favoritism. And I agree. It's who cares? It's for me personally, if I can't help you, I want someone else to. So especially even in this forum, I think we all have something to offer. And it's really interesting because we're coming from such different points of view, but we all have very similar sentiments. And I think that this is what you're seeing right now in the business culture is a lot of women are saying, okay, wait a minute, we need to help others, but we need to have more conversations like this. I think that's the first thing, that we need to have conversations and say it's okay to talk about this.
Absolutely.
It's okay to call it out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's why I started the Roundtable Talk Show, because I believe that change starts with the conversation. Now, we'll have more conversation after this commercial break. We'll be right back.
You need jordansrooter.com. Get free estimates, 24-hour service, special discounts for seniors and veterans. That's jordansrooter.com. Have a home repair or some remodeling you need done? No problem. We can handle all that too. Give us a call today at 800-300-0358. At Jordan's Rooter, we take pride in our work and always make sure to get the job done right the first time. That's jordansrooter.com. We want to be your Mr. Fix-It.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
A good business consultant.
And I kept searching.
and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes. Thank you.
If you are looking for one as well, look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
Thank you.
If you are just now tuning in to the Roundtable Talk Show, you have missed an incredible conversation. Definitely recommend that you watch it from the beginning, but we're going to see what other conversations we're going to have. The question I had was for Miss Jennie. Based on our previous conversation prior to the commercial break, one of the things that I feel or I notice is that men tend to look at things as far as who am I? Like, I'm Michael Jordan. Why wouldn't I get the shot? I'm, Trevor Noah. Why wouldn't they give me the job? Well, women go and look at it as what we know. Do you find it's a confidence level within direct marketing?
Oh yeah, definitely. In direct sales. I mean, there are a lot of women who aren't even willing to step into the business opportunity despite the really low barrier of entry. I mean, where else can you start a business for $150 or $500? I mean, I can tell you as a coach, I spent almost $10,000 in my first year on starting a coaching business, right? And so, you can't start a business for $150 except in direct sales and network marketing. And there are a lot of women who still say no because they're like, oh, I could never do that. I mean, the number of women who, when I was still active in my direct sales business, who would tell me, oh, I could never do what you do. And I'm like, sure, you can. If I can do it, you can do it. I can teach you. That's why I'm here. So it definitely is a confidence level. Like I said, in the first half, I think there's a, it's not just confidence, but it's trusting themselves. Mm-hmm. Which I think the two obviously go hand in hand, but they don't trust themselves to be able to handle rejection. They don't trust themselves to be able to pick themselves up when the business isn't going as perfectly as they wish it would. Mm-hmm. So, working to get to the point where they believe in themselves and are strong enough to believe that they can handle anything and everything, because they can. Hello, if we can make it through childbirth, we can do anything. That's my
that's your bar.
That's my bar. Like, you survived childbirth. You created another human being, and you think you can't do this business? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
That's raising the child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So great question. Thank you, Sharifah.
Same question for Dr. Lewis. Do you think or believe that it's a confidence level? Or sometimes we talk about the male ego in such a negative way, but males are like, I'm going out there, I'm going to slay that dragon, kill that lion, I'm going to make it happen. Whereas women may go, oh, I don't know if I have the skills to slay the dragon.
Yeah, that's always a big concern of mine, especially when I'm coaching women, because women tend to get in there. We sometimes tend to get in our own way. And that's one of the things, a big problem is the confidence level or the self-doubt or the fear or of, as you said, I can't do this, I can't do it. And you're saying I can't do it before you even tried it. I mean, if you try it and then something happens and you can't do it, that's totally different. But to say I can't do it and you haven't even tried, you've already discounted yourself. You've already ended the game before it even started. So why would you even do that? And that's why I that's the first thing that has to go, has to be improved. The confidence level, sometimes the self-esteem, the self-doubt, because women will self-sabotage themselves in a lot of ways. And the biggest way is the doubting themselves, or feeling that they're not worthy, or that, they don't have the same value as maybe men have to do certain things. Even if they could be doing in the same position, have the same titles, but they may always feel that I just don't do it as well as my male counterpart. And that's just something that has to be changed. And again, it goes to the mindset. It really does. And the confidence level. So yes, confidence plays a big part a lot of times in some of the things that women don't do, because they don't have the confidence in themselves, the faith or the trust in themselves and their abilities.
How do they get it?
One of the things I've noticed is that even if a woman starts out and they do fail, they do get that taste of, I can do this. I mean, it's almost like a competition in themselves saying, yeah, they were right. I can do this. And they'll go back and get back on their horse. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've fallen off. And I think there's a lot of women out there that once they do get that taste of a little bit more control of their life and of their business and of their future, whether they fail or whether they succeed, they're more willing to get back on that horse again if they do fail.
Well, and I don't know about you ladies, but I have found it's through my failures that I've actually been able to help others in such a way. I mean, I remember I actually wrote a blog. I had a disastrous interview with someone that I was on. I was one of those featured to be on a talk show, and I just blew the interview. And I remember just going, oh my God, my life is over. But learning humility from that, and learning, it's not the end of the world if I fail. Absolutely. But it was amazing that after that happened, after I failed so disastrously in my mind, how many people that the universe was sending me of other women that had failed. And I was going, wait, I've been there. So not only did I have the empathy, but then I had the patience. And then I also had the universe in my ear going, no, they can do it. You just pick yourself up. But I know for me, and I was actually remarking when Dr. Madeline was speaking about, I remember in the very beginning thinking, there's no way I can do this. I'm an active duty military spouse. I have this, there's this life that as a woman that I have to portray for my husband's career and everything that we've kind of worked on. And God forbid I step outside that norm. And I think as women, we're so conditioned to not step on other people's toes, to not step outside the box, to not color outside the lines. Mm-hmm. When a woman does, if it's not in agreement with those around her, it's lots of talk, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it takes that. It takes going, no, it's okay to draw outside the lines. It's okay to fail. And in fact, you will fail, and you'll fail again and again. I remember Bethany Frankel, I'm going to quote the Real Housewives of New York City, but Bethany Frankel, she said, once I made my first million, I knew I could make another million. She said, but before I made that first $1 million, she said, I didn't think I could do it. So it's about building, but you're going to fail again. We all are going to fail in some capacity, and it's okay. It's, kind of brushing yourself off and laughing about it and going, okay, how can I help others through my own failures? Mm-hmm. How can I help other women in particular? Mm-hmm. And I know that you've seen that, Jenny, I'm sure, with your business as well.
Ball toss. There you go, Jenny.
I know. Look at you. Oh my gosh, Nancy, you're killing it. In direct sales, that's what the whole business model is built on. It's, of course, this was a business model that was built by women for women for the most part. And so we're oftentimes in the direct sales and network marketing world offering this opportunity to other women, to other moms, and saying, hey, how can I help you? And some of the best leaders in the world of network marketing are the ones who will get up on stage and go, yes, I made it to where I am now, but not without it being a roller coaster. So as you were talking about earlier, Nancy, that there are times when we're heading down on the roller coaster. They go ahead and they, I forget. One of my friends likes to call it opening the kimono. They open the kimono and they show everybody like all of their scars and all the bad things, the stupid thing that they did, the mistake that they made, the whatever. They're authentic and transparent and say, look, I failed a lot of times before I made it. And you can too. And so they stand up on stage and they share their story, and they're open and authentic in a way to help women who are going, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Well, here they were, a single mom, or, a mom going through a divorce, or they lost their husband or their significant other to a medical condition or something. And they're sharing, despite all of these things, I still made it. And I think that sharing and that saying, hey, let me help you is something that is quite prevalent in network marketing, because it really is very much a sisterhood and a family feel in almost every company I've had the opportunity to work with. They all pride themselves on that family feel and how we help each other out. And so what I've been doing in my own direct sales and network marketing communities is saying, hey guys, I know you guys are in different companies and some of you even sell competing products, but here's the thing. We are still a community. We are still a family here, and we help each other out. We don't disparage. We don't diss people based on, differing business models, because direct sales, network marketing, and MLM are technically 3 different business models that look very similar from the outside world. But helping each other out is really how we're all going to make it further, faster together. If we can lock arms and say, hey, I just learned this cool thing, or I just saw this great workshop, or here's a fantastic podcast that I can share with you, or this is how we help each other out. So it's, believing in, number one, the abundance, that there's enough out there for all of us. We can't possibly handle all of the business that's out there. So we share the business, we share the opportunity with people, knowing that there's more than enough for all of us. And that's how we help each other out.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. The men have always had the good old boys network, and
yes,
it's time for women to take on that same concept. But I have a question for Dr. Madeline. Do you find that age makes a difference in the confidence level?
No, I don't. I think no matter what the age level is, there's always that confidence factor, or that self-esteem, low self-esteem, self-doubt. Those things play a factor at any age. And the bad part about it is, I think as you do get, see the older, because I usually coach women from 25 up to about 65. And within that age range, I think you have some that will bounce back quickly, more quickly than others. And that's because, when it's ingrained in you, or when you have doubted yourself for so long, or your confidence has been shot for so long, or eroded for so long, sometimes it's just hard to, look at things from a positive standpoint. And that's pretty much what you have to do. When we first started, we talked about the mindset. The mindset has to change. You have to make those life-altering changes, and that has to do with the mindset. And if you don't do that, then you're going to continue to always doubt yourself, or see that position and look at it and say, oh, I don't have everything I need, so I'm not gonna go for it. Or, oh, there's 2 men applying for it, so I know if 2 men are applying for it, I best not apply at all, because they probably won't pick a woman. So if you keep that type of mindset, then that's how you're gonna always stay in your own way. Like I say, we as women tend to get in our own way. And if you can't look beyond that and just step up and say, hey, I deserve this, I want this, I'm good at what I do, So I am not going to step back. I'm not going to let someone else take my ideas. I am not going to let them speak over me when we're in meetings. I'm going to let my voice be heard. So you just have to make yourself do that. Give yourself that confidence to do that, because it has to come from you. I mean, as a coach, I can only do so much. I can only bring you so far. It's like I can lead, like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And so the things that I put them through, the training that I put them through, it's meant to help them to take those steps forward. But again, they have to be wanting to do it. They have to be willing to do it. And they have to, again, start to develop that trust and confidence in themselves that, yes, I can do it, and I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to let someone else take what I know that I should have and I deserve.
Absolutely. But I also believe, and this question is going to go to Nancy next, but I was listening to Nancy speak about her failures and her failures. And so even when we get into the job as a women, we tend to look at every aspect of what we do. I failed today. I failed at that meeting. I didn't do well on that. And one of the things as a talk show host that I've noticed that I do that's hard on myself, and I beat up on myself sometimes, is that I'll look at a show and I'll go, this is the most difficult. That was the most difficult show ever. Like I couldn't stand that show. I want to go to YouTube and just delete it.
Wow.
And those same shows, people will come back to me and they'll say, oh, that was a great show that you did with Bob. And I'm like, I didn't even like Bob, because Bob was like answering me in yes or no answers, and it was like pulling teeth. Do you find it as well, Nancy?
I do. I think I think that it is so easy. It is, so I believe in the concept. It's called pronoia, Pronoia. It's a concept that's been around since the 70s, and it's the opposite of paranoia. So paranoia is everyone's out to get me. Pronoia is the universe is always working in your favor. And pronoia is a really easy concept to understand, but it's really hard to implement, because essentially to believe in pronoia means that you have to have faith that every single thing, even the bad things, happen for a reason. And I talk a lot about, I do free readings on Friday night on Instagram, and I mention this word a lot. It's so hard though, because in the beginning, like for me, it had to be where I was driving and I'd get to a red light and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm at a red light. And you have to change that mindset to, there's a reason. Maybe I'm going to get stuck in an accident up ahead. Maybe something's going to happen. There's a reason why I'm at that light. But it's kind of, you have to do it into bite-sized chunks. And so for me personally, when I've had these failures, I mean, all you want to do is break it apart. I remember when I failed this talk show, and I didn't get picked, I was taking every single thing I did and just ripping it apart, even though I knew it wasn't making me feel better. I knew it was only making it worse. But at the time, you have to kind of feel sorry for yourself a little bit. But looking back, I know I wasn't ready for that opportunity when it happened. And I know that by Pronoia's understanding is that was always meant to happen, that there were other things coming up that I needed to be ready for by experiencing that failure. So it's about understanding that even in our failures, we're growing and we're learning. And it's hard in the moment. And I always tell people, like, when they're going through a hard time, feel sorry for yourself. Spend the day, eat chocolate, watch TV, whatever you want to do. But then tell yourself, you set a time frame and you go, no more, because I know that this is going to teach me something. I may not understand it tomorrow. I may not understand it next year, but I bet 5 years from now, I'm going to look back and A, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And B, I'm going to understand where I was going based on that failure. But it's so hard as women, because we are taught to be overly critical of ourselves. We are taught that, to let kind of other people, go ahead of us. And instead of saying, no, I deserve this, but even in my failures, it's okay, because there's something more. But we have to truly believe that. If we don't believe it, we're still in the same place we were before.
Absolutely. Lisa, do you ever feel overcritical of yourself with all your successes?
All the time. All the time. I definitely am my own worst enemy, for sure. I just get slammed down and get up. Slam down, get up. I'm just, you get used to it. And every time you're a little bit stronger than you were before. And I'll tell you, when I had my PR company in 2008, all my clients were in the building industry. And I lost every single one of the clients I had worked 15 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it does. I get slammed down a lot. And so then, yeah, I think it's a natural part of the process of, becoming who you are. I think the biggest obstacle, though, is for people not to be afraid to change. And, I changed horses in midstream when I kind of created these new products. And, being able to pick up the pieces and go in a totally different direction and say, hey, why not? It's something I always wanted to do. And I don't think that a lot of people allow themselves to experience that, because I see a lot of people in the workplace that are not happy doing what they're doing, or they're burnt out doing what they're doing, and really would like to do something else. You can do it. I mean, it's not that difficult. Well, I shouldn't say it's not that difficult, because it is, but it's a learning process. And we're coming back to the learning process, learn skill. I mean, you just have to, start your engines and keep going. Never give up.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in on that really quickly? Because what Nancy was talking about, what Lisa was just talking about, one of the ways that you can bounce back, and Lisa mentioned, or I'm sorry, Nancy mentioned, is this going to matter in 5 years? And that reminded me of something that I've been teaching my own children now. And I've started talking to my clients about when they have something bad happen in their business or their life. Yes, there's a time to grieve that thing that did not happen the way you wanted it to, or whatever it may be. But I teach everybody now this rule of 5. And what it is this going to matter in 5 minutes? Probably. You're probably still going to be a little upset. How about 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, 5 decades? So the rule of 5 is, how far out is whatever this is that happened to you going to impact you? And you have a choice. You can let it impact you for 50 years. You can. 5 decades, go for it. Do you want to do that? Probably not. Especially if you have the choice. So of course, the silver lining on that is to always take a look at, what is it that I can learn? What's my takeaway? What's my benefit? Because, yes, the universe is out to support me. And sometimes these negative things that happen to teach us something. And so we sometimes have to look inward or look outward and go, okay, where's the learning in this? What's the lesson that I'm supposed to learn? And if this is the 13th time that this has happened to you, you haven't learned the lesson yet. What's the commonality in everything, that this situation that's happened to you again and again and again? What is it that the universe is trying to teach you? Because you haven't learned it yet. And once you learn it, you can now begin to avoid it and go, okay, now I see that coming because I've been down that road before. I see those road signs, and I can begin to take another direction in order to avoid that thing, because I've learned my lesson.
Absolutely. I love it. And speaking of lessons and takeaways, we have come down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching the show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Dr. Lewis.
Well, I would like them to take away the fact that all we talked about the confidence, the self-esteem, and different things like that. I want women to know that they should never give up. They should always, always know and have faith and trust in their abilities and their self-worth. Know that they're worthy. Know that they can do anything that they set out to do. And never let anyone take away their self-esteem. Never let anyone take away their confidence, and never let anyone make them think that, again, that they're not worthy and that they can't do something that they know themselves that they can do and that they should do. So that would be what that would be the takeaway that I'd want them to get.
And where can people find you?
They can find me at, they could go to my website, which is www.exwsi.com, and make sure while they're there, they can download my free 3-part video series on 3 things every woman should do to position herself for executive leadership. They can also email me at info@exwsi.com.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Miss Lisa, what would you like people to take away from your appearance here today?
Well, I started this company, PAWPURITY, and if anybody's in the animal world that cares about animals, that is ready to start a business, they can call me and I will try to get them on their way. If they want to do business with me, I would love to have that. I'm all about caring for animals in a natural way. Everything we do is eco-friendly. It's 100% natural. And I know that there's a lot of women out there that probably have products that they are totally, or want to create products that they're afraid to do or don't know how to do the marketing for it. I would love to help them. So they can contact me at Lisa@pawpurity.com.
Thank you, Lisa. And Miss Nancy, what should people take away?
I think that it's okay to take the risk. You are looking at 5 women that have taken the risk in some shape or form. We wouldn't all be sitting here chatting with you if we hadn't taken the risks we have. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to feel like you don't know where you're going. I think that there are other women that are happy to help you in very different forms, whether it's from the psychic's clairvoyant standpoint of just saying, hey, it's going to be okay. And this is maybe the direction you go. Or maybe it's Jennie's where it's, hey, help me get my business going. Whatever it is, there's women that will help you and support you. And I think it's really important to realize that you're not alone, that you do have support around you. It's just about finding and making those connections. You can reach me on my website at nancymello.com. I'm on Instagram at nancymelloofficial. On TikTok, I post really great videos about animals and also just believing in yourself and great stuff like that. At just TikTok, it's nancy.mello. Facebook, it's Nancy Mello Official as well. So if you just Google Nancy Mello, you'll find me somehow, some way. But thanks again for having me. And I love this conversation we had because, again, it was so productive in understanding what we can all do together to help other women.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy. Miss Jennie.
Yeah. So I think the big takeaway here really comes down to that confidence and trust. And one of the things that I work with my clients is confidence in themselves, in building their relationships in order to increase their sales and doing that. So one of the giveaways that I have for your watchers, listeners, viewers, whatever they're called, is my no product puking pitch mini course. So if you go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com/summit-gift, that's badassdirectsalesmastery.com/summit-gift, you can get free access to that no product puking pitch mini course. So that's how do you sell without puking product. It's a 5 videos, less than 20 minutes to learn how to sell without puking your product all over your friends, family, and complete strangers.
Wow, I love that. And I definitely hope that you go to the pages and put the link there so they can contact you. But you come up with these names that most people would be scared to use. But I want to thank you all for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I definitely want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. I definitely appreciate your support. But as always, please don't just watch the show. We appreciate you sharing the show, but I ask that you support our guests. Our guests are here this morning to educate you, to give you their opinions, their views, and to be here for you. So please go ahead and support them. Go to their websites, follow them on social media, send them a message, reach out to them. And when you do, please let them know Sharifah Hardie says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed weekend. Bye now.